Hello and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I am Veronica Danik Boy. Today on the program, APC drags Galadima others to court over RAPC. Falana blames incompetence, impunity for insecurity in Nigeria, set to sue AGF, state AGs over killings. And later on the show, ahead 2019, INEC vows to consolidate on gains of 2015. I will be hanging out with Mayor Akingbelu and Gani Kayode Balogun, GKB. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the program.
It was a pleasure.
Journalist Hangout starts now. In politics, the struggle for relevance among politicians is fraught with moves and counter-moves. This is even more pronounced in our experience, where winner takes all in most electoral contests. In its latest battle with the splinter group, the All Progressives Congress APC has decided to go retaliatory rather than reconciliatory. The ruling party has threatened to drag national chairman of the RAPC, Buba Galadima, and other members of the group to court for daring to break its fold. APC National Legal Advisor Babatunde Ogala said that their action is tantamount to a coup and they would be sued for impersonation, fraudulent interpretation, breach of trademark, and infringement of copyright. But the IAPC has called Ogala's bluff, daring him to go ahead with the legal action. Who blinks first in this face-off? I'll start with you, Mayor. Now, for a party that says it wants to address the grievances in its fold and with a vow to resolving them, is this the way to go?
Not really, but I think it's too late for that.
Too late for reconciliation?
Yes, I think so. Because when they were in new PDP and they wrote a letter, it should have been addressed then and tried to, because they have some points. Though some of them, if you look at the Speaker, if you look at the President of the Senate, those are two high offices that are occupied by members of the empire. Yes, but most of them, but it's not only peculiar to them. A lot of people in the party from either CPC or APC have been sidelined because those who take decisions were not the people that really work for the party. But why I don't agree with our APC people is that when there's a problem within a party, you don't bring the house down to be able to address it. Because when you look at it, like I said, a lot of people have grievances. People that really were head of parties and they formed the alliance, they formed the APC, and really work for the success of the president. A lot of them were sidelined. Yes, what is going on, how APC is being run is not right. But the way the APC people are going is because they have an agenda. They've already made up their mind that they wanted to leave. But what I don't agree with them is that a lot of people, some of the people in RAPC do not have a sense of honor. Let me just put it like that. Because if you leave PDP and you told Nigerians that PDP was evil, that they brought the country to a standstill, and that there should be a change, and you now reform the APC, and Nigerians invested their trust in APC. 3 years down the line, you now want to pull out and go back to the same PDP. It does not make sense to me because I've not seen what has changed in the 3 years that they've been in APC. So it just shows that Nigerian politicians don't really care about the people. They only care about themselves. It's only about their interests. When they were in PDP, because they lost out in the power play in PDP, they joined APC, and a lot of them got positions. Because some of them, because others didn't get positions, and they believe their interest is not being satisfied or assuaged in APC. Now they want to go back because right now...
the party really satisfy everybody's
No,
interest?
the party cannot do that. That's what I'm saying, that if there are problems within the party, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to sit down. Politics is about negotiation. And you have to sit down and try to see how you can solve that problem. Not that you want to break the party to go to PDP. All this drama is just to seek power in next year.
All right, speaking about negotiations, one would have expected that the party, that's the APC, sit down to negotiate with the RAPC, but then it's saying it is suing them or dragging them to court.
Well, the people who are forming what they call the RAPC, knows exactly what they are doing. They are using the time-tested book of politics, of making sure that a party is divided. So majority of their members holding positions based on the electoral law can still hold on to that position until a few days or a few weeks before the election. Their body language has shown they're no longer interested in APC. The convention was the last straw. Don't forget there has been a tug of war in the last 3 years over the control of the soul of APC as a party. And it helps and it flows for the last 3 years. Sometimes you think this side is winning, it turns out no, they are not winning. This side is winning. Until they came to the convention and one side won. We all know that sooner or later the bubble will burst. And this is what is happening. But don't get it confused. These people have no honor whatsoever. It's not about honor, it's not about you or me. It's about personal interest. And if tomorrow RAPC doesn't pay them, they'll become NRAPC, the new reformed APC, until they get to wherever they are going. But like I said, it's the first act of a 3-act play. And we have to just sit down and enjoy it for the next few months.
Sit down and enjoy it. But then what does that leave for the electorates who are also looking up to these persons? Because Adam Soshomole believes that there is no cause for panic because they cannot change the equation for them come 2019. But if you remember, the NPDP contributed so much to the APC, success in 2015.
Things are a bit different now. I believe that this RAPC thing will not work. I've argued with some people behind, and I said it can't work, and I'll tell you why it can't work. When they first met, when they were planning this coup, they had 2 options. One was to form a new party, where everybody will move to different interests in APC, PDP, and all that. The second option was to change PDP's name, to change the name of the party, so that they can move there. That was why people like Tambuwal and Saraki could not move, because they felt it would be illogical for you to leave PDP to APC, be a major player in APC, and then 3 years down the line, you tell the people again that we are going back to PDP. Then it will show that you are just being selfish and you are not altruistic in what you're doing. So that's the problem that they have. In fact, that is why they have to reform, because these people that formed the reformed APC is because they could not wait any longer for the Sarakis and the Tambuwals who were reluctant to join PDP as presently constituted. So the problem is that now they want to sign, I think they're meeting today.
Yeah, a memorandum of
yes,
understanding.
a memorandum of understanding. Why they are doing that is because they wanted to go back to PDP as a bloc, to use that to negotiate, to be able to get positions. One, they will allow a lot of them PDP will concede for members of the National Assembly who are members of to go back to retain their seats without going to primaries and all that. And then they can concede some other positions. And that's why they want to do that. But the problem is that PDP as present constituted is tainted. Perception is everything in politics. You can't come back and tell the people that, oh, PDP is now the party to go. The same PDP that you demonized and you told us we have to change them for the country to move forward. So that's the platform. Yes, these people are powerful. A lot of them have influence, but the platform they want to use is tainted. That is one. 2, a lot of people in APC, the NPDP that came, they are not together again. A lot of them go jail. Different people have refused to follow them, have decided to stay in APC. And when you look at that, if those people, if they cannot get everybody, whether they like it or not, the president is still very popular in the north. Okay. So the key is the southwest vote. These new PDP people, are the southwest major player amongst them? No. If not that, it's the southwest vote that is key. So whether they like it or not, if they go, it will even be easier for APC. APC will still beat PDP next year. I'm sure of that.
Do you share the same view?
Oh, definitely, because 2 things is going to happen. One of them is the fact that PDP, as presently constituted, will concede anything, because they know they are negotiating from a weak position. The new PDP or the reformed APC coming in are coming with strength, perceived that it's national. But the way we are looking at it, the number of people that have withdrawn in the last 2 days since the announcement has shown that it's just a very small clique around some little states. So maybe we're talking about power in about 2, 3. Don't forget, the governor of the Speaker state is in firm control of the party structure in that state. I do not forget there are other pockets like that, that most of the members of the National Assembly have no structures on ground in their states. But PDP, like I said, are in a position not to do more than they can do. But they cannot use that name to duke Nigerians anymore. It will not work. But they are not willing to change the name because the new owners of the party, the Wikis and the rest, like the current structure because it gives them strength and give them national appeal. And they are not going to concede the name to anybody. Because when they did that, it's no longer the PDP that voted for them. It's now an hybrid of two parties that are neither here nor there. So ultimately, they will make their average noise. But if you look at the map, electoral map of Nigeria, and look at those who are powering the Reform APC, most of them are almost in the particular part of the country. And it's the same particular part of the country that the president is very strong. So their marginal influence will only be maybe if the president is expecting, let's say 11 million votes. Let's give a factor of time. Let's say 9 million votes. They can only remove about 1 million, which is made up in other parts of the country. They still do not have the national spread that can threaten APC today as a party. Just like PDP itself, as presently constituted, cannot threaten APC as a party. But politics is 24 hours is a very long time. We'll wait till next week, we'll wait next month. But as of today, the variables on ground does not support that assertion. And then
to add to that, even in PDP, they're going to have another problem, the problem of interest. Because within the PDP, by the time they take back these people, Saraki wants to run. Kwankwaso wants to run. Tambuwa wants to run. Dankwambo wants to run. Atiku wants to run. You understand? So by the time you want to pick the presidential candidate, there will be problem all over again. And I won't be surprised that some people will even come back to APC because these people don't have any sense of shame. I'll give you an example. Last time, in 2015, Senator Dino Melaye was one of those that were going around. He was one of the major people that were introduced to the president when they are doing campaigns. Yeah. The same person who is the senator on APC did a stupid video and was saying, "Oh my home, oh when I will I come back to my own PDP." They don't bother about the people. It's not about the people. It's about their interests. Oh, APC is no longer conducive for me. I'm going to PDP. They're not even doing it to even look for ways of trying to justify it. They just believe that, oh, there's nothing wrong with me being in APC today and saying PDP is bad, and then I can go back to the same PDP tomorrow. But like I said, perception is everything in politics. And it will be very difficult to sell PDP now. But then,
taking the RAPC to court, is there a case for them?
No, I don't agree with my friend Bike Ogala. And I'll tell him why. I understand where it's coming from. What he's saying is that if you say you are Reform APC, you are going to look at the issue of the name, the trademark, you understand? The trademark, you are trying to use the name that is registered to other people, you understand? You are trying to create honesty division when there is none because the convention that you claim is the reason for what you are doing was properly done according to Constitution of APC. That's what he's saying. But I think that it's a waste of time. In fact, it will backfire because you are just giving them, you are trying to now turn the Reform APC to an issue. The best thing is to just ignore them. Let them go and join whoever they want to join, and you move on with your party. I think what Oshimole, as the chairman of the party, did, that is the way to go. He went to the National Assembly, tried to negotiate, because people like Saraki, people like Dogara can still stay, especially Saraki. Out of all the people living, the only person that has influence in his own immediate constituency is Saraki. He's still in control of Kwara. Dino Melaye and all these other, and Va, Galadima, all of them are, yes, they've been in politics, especially Galadima, for a long time, but in their own immediate constituency, the light was there.
So, it's a waste of time. Is that how you see it as well?
No, I think the APC party are trying to use the two-pronged approach, the carrot and the stick. Both of them, of course, are based on the reality that one will work and one will not. Going to court is just the stick. Remember that the Adams has met with them and they continue to talk. This is a sign that shows that in case this is not going to work, this is what we are going to do. Ultimately, they may not even go to court. But it's just a threat that they will sue them. It's not that they've sued them. They had no summons yet. Just a threat by the legal advisor of the party towards members of the party who are thinking differently, which is legitimate. But like I said, I do not see the court case going anywhere. I think what Mr. Ogala is trying to do is to assert that we have the law on our side. Politics are part. The law is with us. Yeah. But we all know politics is not really about legality, is it?
But then where do we place the freedom of association in all of this?
Yes, there's freedom of association. That's what I'm saying, that they have the right to say, oh, we are in this party. We don't agree with how this party is being run. They have every right to do that. I don't have any problem with that. My own problem with them is that if you are a member of a party and there is problem within a party, you understand?
Yes.
Trying to bring the party down. Because what you are doing, if you form a splinter group and you are negotiating with the opposition party, what you are doing is trying to bring down the party where you are in. That is not the best way to go. That means you have another agenda. Okay. The best way to go is to see within the, because if you are a Democrat, within the framework of the party, you look for ways of solving that problem. There are some leaders within the party who lost out in some states, who were aggrieved, who did so much than these people for the party, because they were aggrieved that, look, some people are trying to rubbish us in the party that we form. Even the wife of the president said that oh, some people are controlling this party and we didn't see them when we were campaigning. That doesn't mean you bring down the party.
All right, we have Uzo on the line. Uzo, go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, Veronica. Good evening.
Good evening.
And the guests in the studio.
Good evening.
I think that this Southwest journalist, this Southwest journalist, look, they should give it to RFPC people.
Go on.
All right, I hear that the line went off, but Uzo, as soon as you can reconnect, do call us again. He's saying that we should give it to the RAPC people, but then let's...
We should give what to
What? What should we give to them?
The fact that they could come out to say they are pulling out.
Yeah, they have the right to do that. That's your question.
But then he couldn't complete...
Yes, nobody said they should pull out. We told you that in fact, if you look at what they are doing, it's straight from the book of what happened in 2015. Straight from the book. There's nothing that is different. Some people in PDP felt that the way things were going within the party was not in their interest, you understand? And then they now formed the new PDP, you understand? It became an issue, it became a legal issue, but they knew where they were going. So when some parties decided to form APC, they opted out and joined. And the same thing, APC considered a lot of things, because if you look at a lot of the governors, they were people that were from new PDP, especially in the north. A lot of things were considered. That's the same thing that they are doing. It's not as if they've done anything new. It's just a matter of interest. They felt, okay, within the APC, we didn't get things that we believe that we deserve. They wrote a letter to the party asking that, look, let us sit down, negotiate, and do that. Okay, they did that, but it didn't work. And they felt, okay, the best thing for us is to go to somewhere else. You understand? But they cannot just move like that, because if they move individually, they will not have that kind of influence. Yeah. So they have to form a group and use that group to negotiate within PDP. That's just what they are doing. It's not as if they are doing anything new or spectacular.
We've passed this road before.
It's the same thing that that happened in 2015, yes.
So it's no longer, it's not a surprise at all.
The only thing that is different is the fact that, unlike 2015, when majority of those who came into this party were from a particular part of the country, this time around, just selected few that are coming together to push. Like you said, show me the major players of Reform PDP in the Southwest. Show me the major players in the South-South. I'm not talking about PDP. Major players of Reform PDP in those areas.
The Reform APC.
The Reform APC.
Yeah. So most of them, the key players there, those people that I've mentioned, Tambuwa, Saraki. Yes, they are powerful people. But you see, like I said, apart from Saraki, who has total control in his own immediate political area, others have sitting governors, because the governors in those areas have not left APC.
True.
They've not left APC. So they have those governors to contend with. And then you have to, for example, Kwankwaso is very strong in Kano. But you cannot deny the fact that President Buhari is strongest in Kano since the time he's been contesting the election. That is his immediate constituency. In fact, when Shekara won the other time and defeated Kwankwaso, it was because Shekara ran on the platform of UNPP, which has Buhari as the presidential candidate. You understand? So when you look at the influence of Ganduje, the governor, and you look at the president there, it's not something that you can take from them. You can divide it, but you can't take it from them.
Totally from them. All right, we have Yakubu on the line. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening, Veronica.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to the two wise men in the studio.
Good evening, sir.
I love what the two guys have already just saying. You see, Veronica, these people call RAPC. One thing they are trying to do is to constitute a problem into the party. But I don't think it can work because the difference between last election and this time is quite different, as one of your guests actually said earlier. Then we have 5 governors that control their various states that time. But this time around, those 5 governors, they are still within the APC because that some people from the APC that they hold the same part, the same governor in the, for example, in the Kano state. Are you telling me Ganduje will drop his mandate and join the RAPC? It cannot happen. One thing the APC needs to do now is to ignore them. Because, see, the denominator of this world is not shouting that my PDP, my BDP. In fact, the PDP in the home state now, they are not saying that they don't want him. Because you go last almost 3 years ago now, you are not coming back. There are some people already on ground. They want to contest in that very particular ticket. And then you call, and then you are not telling them to drop the ticket for you. It will not happen. If for all of them, if they go, they will constitute a lot of problem in the PDP again. Because if the thing that I advise Saraki is this, Saraki should stay in APC because he can negotiate now that the court already pronounced that he's free.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Very
Obviously, he is really passionate, but then there are lessons to be learned from all of these issues springing up for the APC, and it has to come together if it's really looking to take up the mandate in 2019.
I agree with you. I agree that, with all respect, I think that Oyegun did not run the party very well as chairman. He didn't establish authority, and I think again that the president too had faults. The president is supposed to be, yes, not the chairman of the party, but is the leader of the party. He's supposed to show leadership within the party. Because the president, either by act of omission or commission, did not really get involved in the problems within the party. He allowed the problem to fester, and they couldn't do things. Secondly, I think the president allowed some forces to create a clique within the party who took most of the decisions and then sidelined people who actually fought for that mandate. And when people started complaining, I expected the president to be able to say, okay, these people are wielding on usual influence. Let me try to bring everybody together. But he did that late. It was very late that he formed a committee and put Ashwaji Bola to do reconciliation. But he couldn't even, they didn't even allow him to do a lot of things because there were so many problems within the party. And then they had to do the conversion, which created another set of problems. So that's it. But the lesson to be learned is that, look, when you run a party, it is important, one, to have a chairman who have enough influence to be able to run the party. 2, the president must get involved in running of the party. He must get involved in what goes on in his party because he's the leader of the party. If he stays aloof, it will create a vacuum that some other people will occupy and then wield power using his name, which is the major problem in APC is that those who are taking most of the decision in APC were not the people that really fought for the mandate that everybody's talking about. So it's not as if the Reform APC people didn't have legitimate grounds to complain. No, I concede that what their complaints is genuine, no doubt about it. But my own problem is that, look, it depends on what you want to achieve. If you stay within the party and try to see how the party can be reformed, I won't have any problem with that. But if you form a splinter group and you're negotiating to go back to PDP, there is not about the general good. It's about your own personal interest. Yes.
Oshomole obviously has his work cut out for him. Can he wield that interest?
Yes, his brother, the former chairman, has really, I don't want to use the word on television, this stuff that made the work very cumbersome for Oshomole to come in and clean the Augustine table because things are really gone down in the last 3 years. Mr. Oyegun has shown a fantastic level of competence when it comes to party administration. Because very early in this administration, there were signs that we are going to come to this sorry pass. And all it was required was leadership at that level But they were dilly-dallying, they were wavering, and they were cutting into caucuses. So ultimately, something will have to give. Normally, this is the first time I will hear, and I'm not as old as I think, but I've never heard of a party changing the chairman, the captain of the ship, this close to the election. And they did this because the man has not shown leadership, and is the cause of the majority of the problems our APC is facing today. I'm not excusing the president, but the party has a chairman who has not shown that is above board in dealing with members of the party.
All right, still to come, Falana blames incompetence, impunity for insecurity in Nigeria, set to sue AGF, state AGs over killings. Stay with us. All right, the late American statesman and liberal politician Hubert Humphrey once said, and I quote, "To err is human, to blame someone else is politics," end quote. Could this statement be adduced to the blame game that has trailed incessant killings in Nigeria? Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has attributed the spate of insecurity in the country to incompetence and impunity on the part of the federal government. This is contrary to claims by the presidency that politicians are responsible for killings. Speaking at a function in Ado-Ekiti, Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, said if the impunity is not addressed, there will be no end to the dreadful killings. He has vowed to institute a suit against the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and State Attorneys General, compelling them to prosecute those fueling killings. This, according to him, will challenge the government to be at alert to its responsibilities. What do you make of this statement?
Femi Falana is a lawyer, a damn good lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, a warrior in the fight for democracy, and the only weapon he uses is the courts. So that's why he wants to go to court. But like we said the other time, I can't see what he's going to achieve going to the courts. But I agree with him that the problem is impunity and incompetence. I agree with him. Why? Because when you allow, when you see the primary function of government is to protect life and property. And if you, as a government, if you shirk that responsibility, or you send a message out that you don't have the political will to deal with people who engage in criminality, it will fester. These so-called S-men have been doing this rubbish, and it borders on criminality per se. And instead of government to say, look, we are not going to allow this. Every time that the president and the security chiefs have told us, oh, we are going to do something about it, they will not be able to do something about it. Even government officials, the minister of Interior, it will talk. Some officials of state will talk as if they are in support of these people, as if these people are above the law. So when they do that, because what is going on in several states in the north is disgraceful. Because our country has degenerated to a state where life does not matter. And we just believe that it has become the norm. We shouldn't be. And a lot of people have complained to say, look, the security chiefs, yes, they've tried their best, they've done well, but along the line, it seems that there's a disconnect. They are not as efficient as they used to be, or they don't have the willpower to do those things, or they don't have the capability to do so. I think that the government should have just changed security chiefs, try to bring in new ideas, because we have seen within this same system that if you have competent officers, things happen. The Inspector General of Police have a special unit headed by Bakari that will be able to solve a lot of problems.
Yes.
So it shows that if you have the necessary team and you back them well, they will achieve things. So I don't understand why the president cannot realize that, look, my people cannot be dying like this.
But the president at some point said he was going to change the security.
But he didn't do that.
Structure.
He didn't do that. So everybody just rolling as if it is life as usual. Oh, they killed 100 people today. They killed 50 people the other day.
Now they are comparing.
So
more corpses in your side than mine.
It's suddenly seeming like the lives of Nigerians doesn't seem to have value. But then one wonders, why is it so difficult for us to build the political will to address this issue?
Well, political will is even a long way from the problem. Common infrastructure we are lacking. 2 weeks ago, I think I said on this program that the federal government has not bought a single vehicle for the Nigerian police this year. The only vehicles they got this year, apart from the one by the governors, for the ones they do, is basically from Dangote, 150, I think, vehicles that were, of course, given to the officers. No new vehicle for the Nigerian police from the federal government this year. Benue State, the theater of war, has less than 5 APCs. What I'm saying? Officers are now taking off their uniform than to go into areas they know they will not get insurance. If they die, nothing will happen to them. It's this country that we are throwing out the families of policemen who died in active combat after 6 weeks to go and fend for themselves. The insurance to cover them, where are they right now? So, like I said, political will is still a long way off. Common, ordinary infrastructure. I don't like using that word because it's now, but things that we have to do with security should be priority. That's why the government asked for $1 billion. So, unless these people are equipped, for example, I keep telling people, Benue is a very big state, but it's not as big as Niger. Understand? The reflection time from one point to the other may be 3 hours because the roads are bad. It's part of the infrastructure problem. Good roads, helicopters, things that they need to combat these people are not available. When the president said, let us pray, I know he himself has given up. So no matter, so when the man talks about incompetence, he's right. When he talks about, what's the other one he spoke about?
Punity.
Punity. He's right. Because it's obvious that we don't have the capacity as a country to solve this problem. Not this government, unless they start investing in things that we need. It's a major, major problem. Senior officers are thinking of retiring early because there's nothing they can do. You see your people being killed like chicken because the guns they are carrying is not up to the capacity being carried by the other side. We keep looking for what my people call agbada when you don't even have a shokoto under it. Let's buy the shokoto first. Let them bring out the money they took, $1 billion, equip internal security to the level that we know, and then things will happen. Because somebody in Benue told me that, look, from point A to point B with bad roads, they cannot react on time. It will take them 3-4 hours. And with motorbike, not with cars, because the cars will take about 4, 5, 6 hours. So imagine somebody calling SOS. And we in Lagos will say, why are they not there in 30 minutes? But the man cannot even leave the vicinity in the next 1 hour. You understand? So unless you face and tackle the real problem underneath of providing things for the police, for the army, I don't care whatever they call them, as long as they're providing security for our people, they will go. The moment the president said, let us pray, I gave up. Because the man himself has given up.
But it should not be like that.
Shouldn't.
Yes, it should not be like that because I believe that this government, part of the major problem, apart from infrastructure that you mentioned, political will is also part of it. Because these people who are doing these atrocities have sympathizers within this government who, for one reason or the other, believe that they have a reason for what they are doing or try to justify or reason with what they are doing. We shouldn't be. The other day when we discussed, one of the officials of Mayete Allah phoned into this program one time and told us, I was trying to justify what happened and that, some Bayram youths killed some 4 people and all that, and a car when they did some robbery and all that. And I said, look, there will be criminals within every society. It is the duty of government to be able to send a message that if you get involved in criminality, you'll be arrested and made to pay for what you've done. But people cannot take laws into their hands and do retaliatory killings. And when you want to kill people, you go to a whole village, you burn the village down, you kill women and children who has nothing to do with those who killed those who stole your cattle. But if the government had a will, they will have clamped down on these people to say, look, we are not going to accept this. And like I said, I believe that, that this government, that within the armed forces and within the police, we have men who are capable of this, of solving this problem. It's just, that those who are doing it now, whether they don't have the tools or they are not confident enough to do, or they don't have the will to do that. And so in that case, let us look for those within the system who can do these things.
Can do these things.
We cannot just allow people to die and we say we are running a country.
Because this issue has to be solved and justice has to be done.
That's the only reason
and not
government
just being
is in
done,
existence.
but be seen to be done.
Yeah.
Of course. But then another issue that Falana raised is the fact that there hasn't been any form of prosecution, so to speak. And before that can happen, there has to be some level of investigation into these matters to really, find out what is really going on and why this is happening.
People are being prosecuted.
People are being prosecuted, yes.
Seriously.
So
Maybe not to the level, or maybe not to the level of the noise that he expected. But a lot of people are being prosecuted for all manners of things. I agree with him that it may not be enough, and that we've not wielded the big stick. But it doesn't mean that things are not being done. Like I said, it may not be to the level that we wanted. For example, based on what he said, somebody said people are taking over villages and renaming them. Those are things you can see. Government has not done anything about that. I heard it a month ago. 1 month later, nobody has said we've taken over those villages and returned them to the original owners. Everybody kept quiet. That, to me, is part of the impunity. Because they realize that it cannot be touched.
All right, we have a caller on the line from London. Go ahead with your contribution, please. Are you there?
Hello, yeah, I'm still here.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, thank you. Yes, good evening, gentlemen and the lady, Veronica.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm just listening with interest from what from your discussion. The thing is, we don't like ourselves in that country. So I'll tell you, and I'll give you an example. I was coming from that burial in 2011. And as soon as we arrived Heathrow, it was very hot. So they were calling us British passport holder, and you know what they were doing? They were handing us cold water to drink because of the weather in London then. Very hot on that summer, July 2011. And the other people, they were saying, what about us? And then they were saying, well, we are caring for British passport holder. And we said to them, listen, this is the government that cares about its people. They were making provisions for them because they knew the weather was very hot. As soon as we were just embarking, they were handing cold water to British passport holder. And the rest, I said to them, well, go and get water from your government. That is how you will know a government that wants to help its people. But in our institutions, it's never like that. And another thing is going on in the country now. Government seems to be looking the other way, which is very wrong. Human beings' life, you are not cherishing it. You are comparing human beings' life with cattle. That's not fair.
All right, Shola, thank you for your contribution on the program. Now, another issue that was brought to the fore was the illegal possession of firearms. And there's been some effort at mopping up weapons. But then our borders are still porous, Mayor. How much impact does this have on our effort?
We cannot, politicians have a way of creating a problem. And when they create a problem, they think that they can close their eyes and the problem will go away. We know that most politicians, if not all politicians, let's just say most politicians, if not all politicians, believe that for you to conduct an election, you need talks, you need to dominate your environment, and they recruit all manners of people, call them talks, and harm them. But you see, after election, these people, one, they are used to using these firearms, and they are in possession of these firearms. Every time, people bring in these firearms. Some people purchase these firearms from those who bring it into the country. And because our brothers, like you said, because our border, you can bring anything from our border. But that's not the issue, because the issue is that those people who are politicians are the ones that created this army. It started in Niger Delta. It was there that led to Boko Haram. It is politicians that created these problems. And there are a lot of firearms around because they use these people. But the problem in the north is not the firearms, but it's politicians. You know, we've discussed it one time. Most of these S-men or so-called S-men are more or less like terrorists, like mercenaries. They are soldiers of fortune that you recruit to achieve a particular purpose. And it started because during the time of Libya Gaddafi, when Libya went down, when Gaddafi went down, there were a lot of firearms that went out. because you know there are these Tuaregs and some mercenaries from Mali, from the Sahel region that went to Libya to fight. After that, all of them move around to fight. They're in jail, they're everywhere. So some of them joined the terrorist group program. Some of them are more or less like soldiers of fortune that you recruit. But some people still recruit them to do their dirty job for them. They are the ones, that's why people always say, oh, they have spiritual firepower, they have this, because that is the source of their firepower. There's not much we can do about that, because on one side, unfortunately for us, we have people who are soldiers of fortune and they could come in because they look alike. It's easier for them to blend in and out and all that. And then in the other part of the country, politicians are harming youths too.
All right, we have Wale calling from Oyo State. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, good evening. I want to thank both contributors there, and as well as you, Veronica. Now, my contribution is most of the time, you look at the Nigerian situation, there's so much complexities. Number one thing in life of Nigerians is the life of the Nigerians. You'll find out that it's only in Nigeria that we don't have value for life. The moment we sort out that value for life, roads will be constructed well, tankers will be inspected very well, insurgency will be dealt with, court cases will be dispensed very easily. I don't think there is enough sincerity of purpose from our government. They're just playing around and around and around and just polishing the whole thing. I think the president, Mr. President, needs to be made to answer all these things one by one. And I think the Senate, that's why they will not want Senate, the National Assembly, to be settled. But I think he should be made to come and answer and probably ask to remove the incompetent people, or himself should just resign if he can't handle it. We're losing too much people. Thank you.
Thank you, Wale, for your contribution. Now, quickly, how do we deal with, what is your view of the appropriate action on this issue from the government?
It's not rocket science. The service chiefs have done their best. Let them go. Let's have a new set. The best thing to get, the best way to get best out of people is when they know that they will be dealt with if they fail. And nobody in his right mind can say that these people have passed, because people are still dying. People are still being killed every day. And maybe if your job is to provide security and we are not secured, then you've not done your job. Mr. President was elected basically on his pedigree as a security expert. Most of us are not saying it, because the people who employed 3 years ago are still in charge, and the killings have not abated. And that to me is like I said in one of my write-ups, my prayer is that the president epitaph will not be that this here lies the man under whom most Nigerians died in peacetime.
Yeah, I also agree. I think there should be a new security architecture. I think that we should have new people running our security agencies so that they can bring in new ideas into combating crime. I think we should invest more in providing security for our people, and then we must show enough goodwill to make sure that those who are involved with this criminality are dealt with.
All right, let's move on now. With about 7 months to the conduct of the 2019 general election, a free and fair poll that will give credible results is what citizens desire. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, seems to be working in this regard. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu has assured that the 2019 elections consolidate on the successes recorded in 2015. He said, having conducted more than 180 elections since 2015, the electoral umpire is on course to giving the country its best next year. According to the political history professor, INEC activities are being sanitized and equipment upgraded for credible outcome. There is no doubt that the 2015 elections was a representation of a milestone in Nigeria's democracy. But is it something that we should consolidate on seeing 2019 ahead of us?
I am not, I am hopeful, but I am not certain that INEC can do its job properly. Yes, I'm not
Why?
so sure of that, because since 2015, they've had some successes, some places, they've messed up in some other places. What we are going to look at, they've done the one in Anambra. Let us see what is going to happen in Ekiti.
In Ekiti, yeah.
And in Osun.
And Osun. That will be like a signpost to what will happen next year. If they get it right in Ekiti and Osun next month, then I will know that they are ready for 2019. So that's why I'm hopeful that, because 2015, yes, there were problems here and there, but generally it was okay. But we have to solve the problem. For example, if we have the problem of these young voters who are not supposed to even be voters. There are problems.
Foreigners.
Yes, foreigners and all that. But if they can use the Ekiti election this Saturday and the Osun the following in September, then I'll be hopeful. Then I will know that yes, they are ready. That is it's like there are exams for them. If they mess it up, then we have to pray.
All right, GKB.
Well, it is a thing of joy, really, that in the last 3 years, INEC has not been the center of our conversation. It's been moved to the politicians. That means that the civil servants, let me call them, organizing elections, are beginning to behave like those in other countries, move to the background. And once you can achieve that in the next 2 or 3 electoral cycles, then it's got to the point we don't even remember them anymore. Like it happens everywhere. People don't know who the electoral commissioner is in the UK. Nobody cares. They just want things to. There's no way we'll not have problems. But let them use the sample areas, Ekiti and Anambra, to judge them. They will know what they are doing. Remember, there's a difference between running an election with 300,000 voters and with 25 million voters. True. The logistics are different.
True.
The size of the problems are far bigger. So they can make all the noise they want. But the issue is that once they succeeded in Ekiti and in Osun, then we can now clap for them. I hope they will do better in the next election. But so far, I'm happy that this is the first INEC-related story we'll do on this program in a long time.
All right, but then the body came up with a 2017-2021 strategic plan of action, and it talked about the cleaning up of the register of voters and continuous voter registration exercise across the 774 local government areas of the country. But the collection of PVCs is still a challenge.
Yes, why it is a challenge is because politicians see election. Election is do or die for politicians. So when people register to vote, they mobilize people. Some people will register more than 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You understand? In a politician, depending on how influential and how comfortable he is, he mobilizes people to go and register. There are a lot of underage voters that were brought out to register. But by the time, there's a different time between the time you register and when you collect your PVC. So the problem is that a lot of people registered who already have their PVCs because there are multiple registration. So people always say, oh, the PVCs are there, nobody goes there to collect them, because sometimes it's not genuine. Some people mobilize people to register multiple times, and they've not gone back to the same people to be able to mobilize them again to go and be collecting those PVCs. Because if you register, you're the one that's going to collect the PVC. You understand? And if already somebody took you to maybe 3, 4 places to register, and you were paid that time, and you can't see the person again, it will be difficult for you to collect the PVC. So that's the major problem with the PVC.
Really?
Because the people, that's why if you notice, you will see that most times there's a difference between the actual voting and those who register. In a secretariat, they will say that, or in a state, they will say that, oh, we have 1 million registered or 2 million registered voters. On election day, maybe only 600,000 people will come out. Only 500,000 people will come out.
But that could also be as a result of the fact that some people found it difficult to collect their PVCs. And so there is the chances of certain persons being disenfranchised.
There are many variables.
Yeah, that's part of it, yes.
It's part of it. It's also people relocate. It's also part of it. There are states like Ogun with a sizable number of student population. Things like that also will happen. But I think what we are going through is this. We are starting to get it right. And like you said, multiple voting will no longer be the norm in elections to come.
If you just hold the thought, please. We have Victory on the line. Victory, go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening, Veronica.
Good evening.
And good evening to your guest in the studio.
Good evening, sir.
Veronica, you see the problem with us? I think it has to do with the system. Until when the system is being sanitized systematically and transparently, I think that's the only way we can make a headway. Let's look at this as a case study. Veronica, you and I know it does not take more than 5 minutes to produce a plastic laminated ID card. Now, if INEC, in the ongoing registration, use the entire week to collect data and take an ad hoc staff between Saturday and Sunday to produce those information collected into the data, by the coming subsequent week, you dispose all those CVC. Wouldn't it be the best way to run an affair? But now they will tell you a temporary voter card, multiple wastage of the resources of the nation, and tomorrow someone will say they are fighting anti-corruption war. And does corruption exist from? I think not the avenue where corruption is being perpetrated, and tomorrow we keep pointing at good fingers, and we all know what is going on in the country is wrong. I pray God will help us, and I pray INEC will.
All right, Victory. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you. All right.
INEC is just a symptom of our inability to have a single card for everything. What he's saying is correct in areas or civilizations where they ensure that your ID card reflects anything you want. Your bank, to vote, to do stuff, to buy stuff. That way, we know exactly the number of people in Nigeria. But you and I know that when it comes to election, the figures are inflated. So those who are getting cards, of course, inflated. And you're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 people going after one card. So we'll not get it right until we go back to that single system thing. We all have to do is take my ID card, vote with it, collect money with it, do stuff with it. That way I know that wherever I am, if I register in Lagos, I'm in Sokoto, I can simply vote and pass it in. I know I've done my duty.
And INEC must find a way of doing away with this temporary voters card. If you register, like he said, if you register, I don't see why you cannot get your card there and then. Because part of the problem is that when you ask people to come back for their previous, for the primary voters card, sometimes in some areas it's so stressful to collect. You go there, you have to go to work, you have to spend the whole day, and then they will tell you to come back.
And they don't work on weekends.
Make up their minds to say, okay, look, the stress of collecting these PVCs is just too much, and they won't go there. So we must find a simpler way. There's technology for you to be able to issue the PVC, as I said, during the registration. I don't see why do you have to have a temporary card and then you have a permanent card?
So your final thoughts on all of these topics, quickly.
Nigeria will be great, ultimately.
My final thought is that leadership is very important. The president should show leadership when it comes to protecting lives and properties in this country. I think we are enjoying the drama in APC.
Seriously?
We are still going to see, it's just the act one, scene one. We are still going to see a lot of drama, and it's going to make the election in 2019 very interesting. And I hope that INEC will be able to give us a very good election so that the people's votes count next year.
All right, Chikebi, Nigeria will be great.
It will be great, ultimately. Maybe not in this form, with this size, but parts of it will be great anyway.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughts on the program. But that's all on Journalist Hangouts. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Veronica Dani Boy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.